What's going on, everybody? FYB presents Wise Word Wednesdays, a quick live stream to help you get closer to accomplishing your dreams. I'm your host, Joe Spider, and I do represent the fresh. Let me start this off by saying thank you, and thank you to all those that are watching, whether you're watching on YouTube Live, Instagram Live, Facebook Live, or if you're listening to the audio recorded version. I want to say thank you for taking time out of your day to check out the Wise Word Wednesday show coming to you on this amazing Wednesday evening. I also want to encourage you, if you're not following us or subscribed to us on YouTube, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button just so that way you can be aware of the information that we're going to talk about. You get the notifications and all of that. And you can just see what we got going on. Today, we have another amazing episode with you today. I'm gonna bring my bro back up, which if you're not familiar with the show, he's gonna be new to you. But for those of you that are familiar with the show, I'm gonna reintroduce him to you. He's basically like the co-host of the show at this point, essentially. But it's my man Devon from Play Black Wall Street. How you doing, bro?
Hey, I just got promoted to co-host, so I'm feeling right now. I wasn't.
Hey, upgrades. It does not come with a pay increase, though. Just let you know. You are still on the same salary of $0.00 at this point.
We gonna get it to $1 eventually. Don't even worry.
At some point, hey, but that's 100% increase right there. You know what I'm saying? 100% increase. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. I'm really good, and I'm trying to figure out how much filtering I want to do. When you came on screen, I promise you, it reminded me of the sun from the Teletubbies. Like you came on screen, there's a blue background. And I was like,
"Tubby bye bye." Time for Tubby bye bye.
This is exactly what it reminded me of for some reason. Flashback to childhood.
No doubt.
But I'm blessed. I can't complain. You know, there's a lot going on in the world right now. A lot going on in Southern California right now. I'm just blessed to be alive, have a roof over my head, have food in my stomach, and continue to make an impact wherever I can, man.
Absolutely, man. And I definitely love that, perspective, because like you said, there's a lot going on in this world, especially where you're at in SoCal, man. And so definitely, like I know I told you right before we started live, man, just glad that you're safe and your family's safe. And, I know that I had saw a post about Altadena, being completely wiped out. Do you have any history or information about the history of that city?
Yeah, there's real high level history. I mean, Altadena was one of the epicenters for Black wealth, activism, and civil rights movement within Southern California, LA specifically. We have folks like Octavia Butler, right? If you're an Afrofuturist, if you're a Black nerd, you've probably read something of Octavia Butler. If you're on Hulu and you've watched the Kindred TV series, that's based on her book Kindred. She also has a book called Parable of the Sawyer and so forth. Rodney King, if y'all are familiar with the LA riots, right, who was abused by the police. He's technically from Oakland, and then he moved down, was raised in Altadena. Another artist, Charles White, who's a very prolific artist from Chicago, moved to Altadena, and he just creates beautiful artwork that symbolizes freedom and just the transformation of the Negro from civil rights to modern movement. And the list really goes on and on, from a lot of civil rights folks and artists that were the heart of Altadena. And unfortunately, if you look at the news, you look at Instagram, you see like most of the city is wiped out. And we're trying to see what we can do as Play Black Wall Street to support. There's tons of amazing organizations and entrepreneurs and community leaders on the ground that are donating and trying to basically rebuild from the ashes Altadena. But it's gonna be a long process. So if you know anybody in Southern California, definitely send your prayers. See if there's any way that you can help, whether that's a GoFundMe, whether that's sending clothes, sending beard oil, right? Literally, like anything can help. But yeah, prayers and love to Altadena and Palisades, right?
Yeah,
Palisades,
absolutely.
a huge community that was wiped out. They don't have the rich Black history that Altadena has, but of course, everywhere where people suffer, we're definitely sending love and prayers anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's real, because I know, like, I've been, reading some comments, and I know Dave Chappelle talked about this on his SNL monologue that he did the other day. But like, it's like people are ruthless, man. Sometimes it's like they're like, well, they're rich. It's like, yeah, but they still lost everything. Like that doesn't, like, you know what I mean? And it is interesting too that a lot of people, this we are way off topic at this point, but
It's all good.
but a lot of people lost their homeowners insurance right before these fires. I know like State Farm had pulled out about 70% of their California representatives. And yeah, that was really, really interesting. And it's weird because I got a notification as well too that my homeowners insurance was, removed.
Mm,
And so I just think that when you're considering people, the only reason I got that notification is because the mortgage company reached out and said you have to have homeowners insurance to continue this particular loan, right?
right.
And so I was forced to try to find one, or they were going to automatically give me one that was like 5 times as much as I was paying before. And so when I was reaching out to my company, they were like, "Yo, you're better off trying to find one on your own because all of our companies, they're either pull out of California or it's ridiculously higher than what you were paying before."
Yeah.
And so I just imagine like there are people who probably got the email or the letter, the notification, about their, their homeowners insurance being declined or denied, and they didn't check it. You know what I'm saying? And I know that I saw that I think it was like the mayor or something basically, did like an executive order to where anybody that lost their homeowners insurance over the past year or something like that will still, basically get active or whatever. But it's just crazy the sequence of events. You know what I mean?
Right. Very crazy. And also, I'm not sure. I know that will protect the folks in Palisades, right? Because they're
Mhm.
LA County.
Right.
Uh, I'm not sure if it will protect the folks in Altadena because it's unincorporated land. So it's like,
Mm,
and I don't know all the policies that go into that, but yeah, Altadena schools aren't LA Unified schools, right? It's a different
wow.
county, it's a different type of policy. So they can't vote on the mayor, and there's other different representation policies. Again, I don't know about because I'm not from Altadena, nor am I a government expert. But I just know it's going to be a little bit different for them. But to your point, even for the folks that are seemingly wealthy in Palisades, just because they had the money to purchase that house, or maybe the house was passed down to them, right? They could have lived there for 60 years, bought the house for $100,000. They're teachers, they work at the local store, whatever it is, and they just had that home in their assets and portfolios for years. Now it burns down. It's worth $3 million. That family might not have 3 million or 4 million to actually rebuild from the ground, unlike
Right.
maybe some celebrities or other wealthy folks that live in the area. um and I, not ironically, but just the timing is just ominous to me. We did a full black student assembly with Palisades High School.
Mm,
Mm, this might have been November, maybe December of 2024, right? So literally just a month,
wow.
2 months before this happens, we're at the high school in person, right? So just imagine if that fire would have broke out while we were there, it could
Mm.
have been again a different story for us personally. So that's why, we still send a lot of prayers and love to all those students, families impacted by the Palisades fire, the Eden fire, the Altadena fire, and hopefully the government's going to be able to make them whole again.
Yeah, I mean and I think that's big. It just also shows not only just the impact, but it just shows the humanity, right? Because these different schools, even though they were wealthy, they were still investing in you all and play Black Wall Street to bring you all to their schools to talk to these students about the importance of entrepreneurship and the game and the impact, right? And the history of, Tulsa Black Wall Street. And so I think we have to get out of this. Well, they're rich, so they don't deserve anything, or they have everything, right? Because it's not fair, man. These are kids, these are, older people, these are, some people are single parents and things like that. Just because like I said, they had their house passed down to them, that's not their fault,
Mhm.
right? And even if they didn't have their house passed down to them, if they worked all those years to try to get that home and to purchase it and live in it and think that this was going to be their forever home, just to lose everything immediately is just sad, man. And so I definitely send prayers out there to everybody that's impacted by that. I did see some folks that I follow on social media that was sending stuff down to, they were driving some clothes down there, and I know people had started GoFundmes and whatnot. And so it's crazy, just like or they call it 6 degrees of separation or something like that. It's like
Mm.
I'm seeing somebody had posted on social media like, "Oh, my friend lost everything." And I was like, dang, that's crazy that like we're so closely connected and we don't even recognize that something that's happening, miles away, way down in Southern California. I live in Northern California, that it's impacted, just so close. So it's unfortunate, man. It
Right,
is.
right,
Um,
right. We
again,
will,
that's not the subject that we were supposed to talk about, but
yeah, we go swerve back, but our company slogan, and I think the slogan for Southern California right now is "We will rebuild," and that's been our company slogan since 2017,
Mm,
connecting to the history of Tulsa's Black Wall Street and rebuilding Tulsa's Black Wall Street in a modern way. But then, of course, fast forward to 2025, we will rebuild Altadena, we will rebuild Palisades, the San Fernando Valley, LA. That's just the slogan right now. And how can you embody the resilience that Tulsa's Black Wall Street had in 1921 after it was bombed, after it was destroyed? They rebuilt. It
right.
took them about 30 years to do it, but they stayed there and they rebuilt. And we're gonna bring that same energy to today.
Absolutely, man. I love that. And with that, let's talk about the subject that we had tonight, which is the importance of routine, right? I think a lot of people, when they, I know for, and I'm just saying a lot of people, let me just say me, right? When I think of routine, I'd always go back to being an athlete in high school and being an athlete in college. Like the routine was everything, right? What time did I get up? What time did I go to sleep? What did I eat for breakfast? Especially like on race day, I
Mm,
was like my senior year, I was like, I knew that I was gonna go to sleep at a certain time. I was in bed by 9:30. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was gonna wake up early. I was gonna get me some boiled eggs, some oatmeal, like some fruit on race day. You know what I mean? I had a specific routine. In fact, I actually had a routine that I did every time I went out to practice. Like it just because it made me feel good. When we were at our conference championship, I literally would like walk around the track
mm,
just to get a feel for what it felt like. You know what I'm saying? Like what was, just to embody the power of like that I was about to do. Like, okay, I'm
yeah.
envisioning myself dominating. Like that routine is super necessary. And I think routine is super critical for entrepreneurs. Tell me, how has routine, helped you with, starting your own company and it now being, pretty thriving and successful? Like tell me how important was routine in a part of your, whether your daily routine, weekly routine? Tell me a little bit more about that, because I know you talk about it, especially in your workshops, about different routine.
Oh yeah. And I want to ask, and this can be after I get to this question, but how much of your routine, especially for track, was like superstitious? And like maybe you did the routine one time and you just phew, killed them. And now you're like, oh look, every time I'm about to do this just in case, or how much of it was just this is what I do, right?
Mm,
Um, but for me, routine vital. And it's vital because I get shiny object syndrome very easily, right? I'm a
mm,
person that has a lot of ideas. I'm a person that has a lot of ambition. And sometimes, like if I see a certain ad, if I get a certain email, if I get a certain text, if I see something on TV, it might spark an idea. And all of a sudden I'm swerving a whole different way. So the routines have really helped me stay focus and amplify my energy. But I will say the routine and the habits have shifted depending on what stage of business and life I'm in. So if we're starting like way back in 2016, 2017, when I had a full time job, right? And this may be some of the listeners, they may have a full time job right now and they're trying to grow their side hustle. They're trying to grow their side hustle into a business. It was crucial, one, how to wake up at like 5:30 every morning because I needed to get work done before I went to work.
mm.
Right?
Yes, yeah, for
Because you're
sure.
working your 9 to 5. Um, funny story. I'm a swerve a little bit,
For
Josiah.
sure. You good. You good. Go ahead, swerve on him, big dog.
I'm
Swerve
a
on him.
swerve. For some reason, when I got my first job, this is at UC Riverside, and I got my first 9 to 5 job, and I showed up on the first day. I promise you, I thought 9 to 5 started at 9 o'clock. Oh, I don't know if I told you this story before, but I pulled up to work at like 8:55. I get
Thinking you
routine
was like, well, I'm early.
early, right? I was like, oh, first day, I'm killing them. I showed up, go to my office, I sit down, log into my computer, It's like 8:59. My boss comes over. Shout out to Alex. He comes over. He's like, Devon, can you come to my office real quick? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Let's go. Let's start the day off strong. 8:59. He's like, why are you late? Late. I'm I'm early. We start at 9 o'clock, right? He's like, no, sir. We start at 8 a.m. All right, it is 8 to 5. I was like, well, how come they call it 9 to 5? He's like, I don't know. But anyway, I'm gonna swerve back now. Zoom. Read
Wait, hold up. We not just go. We're not gonna do that. We not just go.
we can't gloss over my
No,
mistake. All right.
no. We gotta pause right there because I don't understand why they call it 9 to 5 either. I was like, maybe they're canceling the fact that you get a lunch break,
Right.
but it's 8 to 5. Literally, it's 8 to 5 everywhere. It's not just 8 to 5 just in education or just in like engineering. Like it's 8 to 5 everywhere, every state, all the time. Like I don't understand why they say 9 to 5. I don't understand either. So I get you, but that is hilarious, and I'm definitely turning that into a clip for sure.
Tra-
Absolutely.
Tragic. Oh, but again, if you're working your 8 to 5 and you also have your side hustle, you want to get up early and dedicate at least an hour, 30 minutes, whatever you can towards the dream, towards the side hustle, just to get the momentum going. I would also take the time in the morning to get my first workout in, right? Just jog around the block. It was probably like almost a full mile, do my push ups, do my sit ups again, because for me, health was important. I would then go to work, 8 o'clock moving forward. All right. Get my good work in. And then lunch breaks would be dedicated to education towards the business. So I'm on YouTube University. I'm watching podcasts. I'm listening to EYL. I'm doing things that's going to pour into my entrepreneurship and business cup. All right. 5 o'clock comes, boom, I clock out. I then get another hour of probably work done for the business. And then I go to the gym right at UCR, right on campus. Get it in, come back home, probably 8 o'clock, dinner, maybe one more hour of work, Netflix, sleep, do it all over again. And that's the routine that eventually got us to from $0 in Play Black Wall Street to $11,000 in Play Black Wall Street to $17,000 to $50,000. That routine from UC Riverside, and then I switched full time jobs, went to UCLA, stuck with pretty much the same routine, is what got us to that 50. And then it was time to switch up the routine after that.
Mm. So how long did it take you before you switched your routine? Like, was it something that was like 2 years? Was it 5 years? Like, what did you see like the time frame and switching routine? And how uncomfortable was it for you to make that switch? And like, because I mean, I also like want to know like, when did you know it was time to switch the routine as well too? So,
Mm.
whichever one of those questions you feel like answering, or maybe you want to answer them all.
Yeah, so I'll answer them in the order that I remember them.
Okay.
It was about 3 years.
Okay.
So within 3 years, that's when it was time to switch up the routine. But it was pretty consistent for those 3 years. And once I couldn't make certain Play Black Wall Street obligations because I was working the 9 to 5,
Mm,
that's when it was like, all right, we gotta switch something up, right?
gotcha.
And honestly, like the universe has been working for sure in our favor, but not always in a positive way. And I say that because by the time we were ready to start making more business decisions and more business investments as far as my time, COVID happened, right?
Mm,
Which of course, terrible thing for that to happen. But what that allowed me to do is work from home, and now my time was more
mm,
flexible, right?
yeah.
So that's where you start seeing us do the podcast more often. That's where I'm able to teach classes for Play Black Wall Street more often. That's where I'm able to just pour into it more because I don't have to physically go into the office and be there and be focused on the 8 to 5 for those time periods. I now can do other things throughout the day. So that's where the the routine shifted a little bit. One, because there was a higher demand for Play Black Wall Street services, workshops, virtual game nights, all those sorts of things that was pulling me away from my eight to five. It's even
Mhm.
weird to say 8 to 5, but pulling me away from my job. But then also, I finally had the time during the day to actually commit to those things.
Got you. Yeah, see, I think for me, you know, it is hard getting out of the routine. Like, so I'll just use, like I said, I like using sports, right, as my analogy or as my example. That when I was, um, working out, running track in college, and and even in high school, you typically have afternoon practice, right? Because in high school you have class all day, and then you get out of class, so your practice is like 3:15, 3:30, something like that. In college we had practice, it was 2:15, so right middle of the day. Um, and so when I graduated from college, like, I was just like, all right, well, I'm gonna practice in the evening because I got work 8 to 5,
Yep.
8 to 5. You know what I'm saying? I got work, so I would practice in the evening, and it was just so hard for me to like work out in the evening, like at the end of my day, because I'm like, dang, some days I would have a bad day at work, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just about to go straight home. I ain't about to go work out. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I had to do this, that, the, what, and the other. And so I was like, let me try something different, especially because when I was working at Sac State, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would be working out in the evening time, and it's packed certain times of the year in the evening. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it would take me 3 hours to do a workout at some point because I was just waiting. You feel me? I was just waiting for so long for certain machines, right? And so again, I had my routine of what type of workouts I was going to be doing, had a whole catalog or list of to be able to log that stuff in.
Mhm.
And it was hard, but so I was like, let me see if I can try to force myself to get up early in the morning. And it
Yeah.
was super hard, bro. Like, when you're used to like having your morning routine almost your whole life, essentially, right? You're always getting up in the morning, going to school, then practice, then go home, and you just have the rest of the evening to do whatever. To try to switch that to now getting up at like 5, you know what I'm saying, 5:30, to be at the gym by 6 to do your workout. You know what I'm saying? It was tough, but what I recognized over time was that I was able to do what took me 3 hours in the evening time, I was able to do in an hour and a half in the
Yep.
morning time. Same amount of workout, less time because there's less people. The other thing is, I recognize that in the morning when I did my workout, I always had a good day.
Mm, yeah.
Didn't matter what happened that day. I always had a good day because I knew that I had already accomplished a goal.
Love it.
No matter what. It didn't matter if work was terrible. It didn't matter if I had some frustrations. It didn't matter if I had car trouble. I was like, I had my workout done, so I was able to release so much tension, and you know what I'm saying, by getting that workout in. It just helped me feel so much better throughout my day. And so that's why I know there is a science to the routine of dedicating yourself to something for in goal, right? Like, there's a science to it, and I think that there is a biological reaction,
Mm,
right, to you making certain sacrifices and developing a routine over time, even if it's not. Sorry, I'm under the weather a little bit, but even if it's not working out, but you switching yourself to getting up in the morning, like you said, you work 8 to 5 for your job, but then from 5 to 8 you working for yourself. So
that's
now
right.
some of those hours is going to be dedicated to sleeping. You know what I mean? Some of those hours are going to be family time, but you gonna have to make some sacrifices. And I do think there was like a chemical or biological reaction that your body is then drawing your goals closer to you, whether it be the metamorphosis or whether it be whatever. But I do believe that there's a reaction to that. What do you think about that?
So I'm reminded about a whole bunch of things as you're talking,
Okay.
and I may go 100% left field,
Do your
but
thing.
that's okay. We go swerve in and out. Um,
Facts.
there's a book called The Biology of Belief
Mm,
that literally talks
let me
about
write
how
that down.
your thoughts can impact and shape your reality and what happens. And it gives a microcosm of a pregnant woman that's with a child. And one pregnant woman will go through and maybe she's stressed about work, maybe she's stressed about partner, stressed about life. And all those things through hormones, through chemicals are being passed through the placenta, passed through the wall and given to the baby. And that baby is going to be born with a certain personality and with a certain physiological effects of that stress versus
Mm,
right a pregnant woman who's stress free, She's eating good food. She's so blissfully in love with her partner. That baby's going to be born with those impacts. So literally, your stress, your diet, and your belief, your thoughts, all can shape your reality and your physiology. So biology belief, check that out.
Absolutely.
Another thing.
Uh-oh, I think you accidentally muted.
They don't want me to be great. Another thing I was thinking about is we talk about compound interest,
Mm,
right? Compound interest, as I'm sure most of y'all know, but in case you don't, when you're investing in stocks, investing in mutual funds, and you take your profits and you put it back into investing each month, you never withdraw, your money's going to compound over time, right?
right.
Um, but what about compound effects of habits?
Mm.
Fact that you say you're in the gym for 3 hours, which is crazy, by the way. 3 hours in the gym, goodness, I would be
Clearly, I had no real responsibilities. Clearly, I was just doing whatever because
three
the to be young again.
for sure. If I'm at the gym for 3 hours, my queen's calling someone like, "Hey, where is he at?
Right.
What's going
I think he died at the gym. Clearly, there's something wrong. He was trying to lift 500,000 pounds. I told him not to.
on?" Man, but again, the fact that you wake up just a little bit earlier or a lot bit earlier, you get the same workout in half the time, then your day feels better. So maybe now you're closing more deals, maybe your interviews are going better, maybe you're posting more on social media. All these things are having a compound effect. And if you do that over 3 months, you, right, you'll see how that impacts your life. And that's, I think, what I've seen in the business with the first 3 years. We got a good compound effect over those actions being happened, but and then we hit a wall. So then we had a shift, and then we saw another exponential growth when we changed our habits and received those compound payments or effects over the next 3 years. And I think at this point we're hitting maybe another wall, and it's my time to really look at what are our short-term and long-term goals,
Mm.
and who do I want to embody? Which leads me to my last point. There's a YouTuber. He's an author, business person. His name is Myron Golden. You watch Myron stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, dope dude.
Okay.
He has a ideology called be, do, have. All right. So if you think about who you want to be, and this can be who you want to be tomorrow. This can be who you want to be in the next 5 years. Who is that person? Are they an entrepreneur? Are they a great husband? Are they healthy? Are they an amazing friend? Like who is that person?
Mm-hmm.
Do what does that person do on a daily basis? If I'm a phenomenal friend, I'm gonna text my friends on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. I'm gonna give them a call. I'm gonna wish them a happy birthday. I'm gonna know what their hopes and dreams are, and I'm gonna hold them accountable to those hopes and dreams. If I'm a phenomenal husband, I'm going to, kiss my wife good morning every day. I'm going to see if she needs any food. I'm gonna cook her breakfast. I'm gonna get her flowers. Right? There's things that you're going to do as an entrepreneur, as a husband, as a friend. And then lastly, the result of being and the result of doing gives you what you have. Right?
Mm.
Gives you valuable friendships, gives you an amazing wife, gives you a six-figure business. Right. So I highly encourage folks, I'm a teacher, so we gotta give homework at some
Absolutely.
point.
Educate. Educate.
Education, right?
You know what I'm
Um,
saying?
write down who you want to be as specific as possible, right? And maybe it's a 5 year vision, right? In 5 years, I want to be a six-figure entrepreneur. I want to be an amazing, intentional, caring, loving husband. I want to be, just write it down. And then write down 3 to 4 actions that person would do on a daily or weekly basis. It might be go to the gym, text a friend, read a book, write a book, do a podcast episode, listen to a podcast episode, right? Just 3 to 4 things that they would do. And as a result of doing those things, what would you have? All right. Again, this is from Myron Golden. You can check out some of his videos. Dope person. He also has a book called Boss Moves. Great book, but be, do, have, y'all.
I love that, man. I love that. Shout out to Myron as well too. I do want to address a comment, or at least read a comment we got from Tori. Shouts out to you. Many people routinely work 40 plus hours for a job that underpays them, and they never spend time building a routine to work on their
Mm,
own goals and elevate. I'll never understand some people's allegiance to a company that does not pay them a livable wage. I know you have to work to pay your bills, but many become complacent and just stay there in place because the 8 to 5 routine has become comfortable. You talking
talking.
heavy, very heavy. And I think, you know, it's very, very important for people to ask themselves, is this where they see themselves, right? Like,
Mhm.
is this what you dream of? Is this where you, what you're passionate about? There are some people that are out there that are passionate about what they do, like, and so they don't care, and that's dope. Like, I love the fact that you're doing. I'm big on doing what you feel you were born to do, right? Doing what you feel like your purpose is, and so that changes, or that varies from person to person. And so, for those people that are living in their purpose and walking in their purpose, much love. But if you're in a situation where you're working at 8 to 5, which you're right, it does sound weird to say 8 to 5. It's
Sounds
crazy. It sounds crazy to say 8 to 5. I don't understand. Thank you for pointing that out, because I always say 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy. But you know, I'm if you're a person who's working a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, and you don't love what you're doing, you're not passionate about what you're doing, then you have to ask yourself, what am I doing? You have to take accountability, right? And this is, I know, where, you know, ET, the hip hop preacher, is huge on, right? That accountability thing, where he's like, everything that has happened in my life is my fault. And again, there are a ton of things that you can look into that's not your fault. But when you take accountability for it, then you're actually giving yourself the power to change your situation. But when you are saying that it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault, and you're pointing blame, then you have no power or control over your circumstances. And so you don't have the ability to change it and to improve it. So I think it's really important, you know, to ask yourself, are you passionate about where you are? And then again, following that mantra, the be, do, and have. You know, what can you do to change your particular scenario? And I think that what experience has taught me, bro,
Talk
is
to me.
that your routine determines who you are. You know
Facts.
what I mean? It is what it is. If your routine is drinking every day, you're an alcoholic.
Yep.
If your routine is fighting every day, you're a fighter.
Mm.
If your routine is working out every day, you're a gym freak. You know what I'm saying? If your routine is reading every day, you're a scholarly person.
Mm.
We have to recognize that we are the sum of our surroundings and also the sum of our doings.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And if there's a scenario that you don't like, ask yourself, okay, cool. What can I do to get out of this? What can I do to change this? What can I do to flip this? And how can I just get a little bit better every day so I
Mhm.
can get that compound interest? You know what I'm saying? I can get that compound result.
Oh yeah. And sticking with that, analogy of compound interest, you don't see the power of compound interest after one day.
Man, you don't even see it after a month.
You don't see it after a month. You don't see it after a year. It's going to take 7 years, right? Typically for that money to at least double. It's going to take 14 years for it to quadruple. It's going to take 21 years for it to whatever 8 times is. Octuple?
Octuple? We're gonna roll with that. Octuple.
Octuple, right? So how committed are you to the person you want to be? And are you okay with it taking at least 7 years for it to happen? I work with scholars, young folks all the time, and a question that I ask them, it's my favorite question. I feel like I've probably asked it on this podcast before, but it's, if you knew you could not fail,
Mm.
right? If you knew 100% the business that you started would be successful, what business would you want to start? Right? This is sometimes students, maybe first, second, third time ever being asked such a broad question that forces them to dream and think outside of their current self. Right.
Yeah.
Um, so there's some students, they sit there, they think about it for a little bit. Some students like, I can't come up with anything. Other students, after they wait a little bit, they're like, I want to start a app company. I want to start a video game company. I want to be a restaurant owner. I want to be a lash tech. And they just come up with all these things that they hadn't thought about before. And I think as adults, we get we get so far into the routine. We get so deep into Nipsey Hussle talked about like just being in survival mode.
Hmm.
We don't look at our dreams. We don't look 5 years, 7 years, 14 years out. We're just looking at how do I pay the light bill tomorrow? How do I pay for food next week? And that's why we keep going to that 9 to 5 job, that 8 to 5 job that doesn't pay us enough really to dream. It just pays us barely enough to survive.
Mm, that's
Right.
heavy, bro.
Yeah. We need to we need to reclaim our time and sit down. It could be just for 10 minutes. And really this was a part of my routine in the next phase 3 years was every morning I would wake up and I would write down 100 affirmations. And these are things that I'm not right now, but I want to be. Right. I'm
Mm,
a real estate developer. I'm an awesome teacher. I'm a $1 million business owner. I'm a phenomenal father. I'm a phenomenal husband. Like just things that I aspire to be. It put me in a dream state. And then after I write down the 100, I would then lay down right on my yoga mat and I would meditate for about 10, 15 minutes. Again, just projecting what I want my life to be, projecting how I see myself, not how others see me, how I see and how I want to see myself. And I encourage you, maybe not 100, because I'm gonna be honest with you, that takes about 45 minutes to write down 100. I
not
might
if you use Chat GPT.
that don't count. You can't that you can't chat GPT your way through affirmations.
Not through affirmations, bro. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna
It's not
work.
gonna work. You got to sit there, and I think
They gonna be like, "You're so tall." I'll be like, "I know you lying."
listen, every time Sinclair says that to me, I got to flicker just a little bit. Like, hey babe, can you get this out of the cabinet? I'll get it. She's like, oh, thanks, babe. You so tall. I'm like, girl, don't lie to me.
You, I mean, I did feel 5, 6.5 today.
Oh man, I'm weak. But real talk, y'all. Affirmations. I know some people think they don't work. I can't speak for everyone else. All I can tell you is my experience, how I felt when I woke up every single morning. I did affirmations. I did this for probably 3, 4 months. I literally felt charged up. I felt like a super saiyan because my body, my mind started believing the words that I was writing, right? And I started acting differently. And then that's when the business went from 5 figures, went from $50,000 to $70,000 to $100,000, right? In that self belief. And I'm getting to a point right now where business has been up and down, right? Contracts have been up and down. The recent fires have impacted contracts, and it has me rethinking strategy, but it also has me needing to pour back into my cup, right?
Mm,
Needing to take some time to be like, all right, Devon, what's the game plan? Remember who you are, remember who you want to be. And I'm about to get into the mode where I'm writing 100 affirmations again, just so I can pour back into my cup and charge back up to get to the next step in business.
yeah, I love that, man. And it's crazy, as a person that's been a professional for years now, over a decade, right?
Mm.
Um, I know. I mean, no, I'm the OG now. I'm the OG. As a person that's been a professional, right, for over a decade, sometimes you don't even notice the kind of impact that those small routines have until way later on, right? Like, it's like the person who always shows up early for work. It's a part of their routine, but there could be somebody who pays attention to the fact that they always show up early for work, and so they trust them a little bit more. And so they trust them with responsibility a little bit more. And when they go up for a promotion, they're like, I know this person is always on time. So I believe that they are going to be accountable. Right. So, like, little things that you were just doing. And it's funny because I'm saying this as a person who's almost always late to work, but I'm just saying, but those little things, right? They do make a difference in regards to how your life could be altered, right? Just little incremental things that you've done consistently over time, they make a huge difference. And it's like working in education, bro. It's like not a lot of people, aside from those who aspire to be teachers, not a lot of people dream to work in administration, right? Like when they're children, like they start to hit that realization when they become an adult, right? You're in college, or sometimes maybe you're in high school. You're like, oh, I want to be a principal, something like that. But most times, like kids, they dream they want to be an engineer, an astronaut. They want to be a, you know what I mean, a scientist, a doctor, all these type of things. Um, and so I recognize when I start having conversations with people, who work in higher education, a lot of them, like, it's almost like they stumbled upon, right,
Mm.
like this particular career field, especially like when you're talking about administration. It's like they were working, and then this one opportunity led to another opportunity, and they ended up, what I mean, that's where they are, but they love what they do. They're passionate about it, but they didn't even know they were passionate about this until they started to do the work. And the reason they got an opportunity to do the work was because of the routines that they had built over time. Whether that was, it could be something like, for example, for me, when I was in college, I was always going to my professor's office hours. Like, that was just a part of what I did. Like, nah, we gonna chop it up. We go. Some of my professors knew me so close, they pretty much had my social security number. Like, we was that tight. Like, for real. You feel me? We was that tight. So it's like, because of that, I got a chance to get conversation, and it put me on game about certain benefits, working with the university, and what the kinds of avenues that you can go into because of those conversations that I got from, because I was scared I was gonna fail class. You feel me? Like, I was like, I need to graduate, right? So it became a routine for me, and that routine has allowed me to develop certain professional relationships that gave me access, or the ability to be able to find out what's happening across other campuses and other, you know what I mean? So it's just, these routines are super impactful. But again, I was a college student. I started college in '08. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing the benefits almost 20 years later. You feel me? So like you said, when you talk about that compound interest that takes a long time, that's what we're talking about. But those habits are super useful now in my day to day.
100%. 100%. And if I can give another book recommendation, I'm looking around. Aha. Atomic Habits
Let me
by
write that down.
James Clear. He talks about a lot of dope stuff in here. I think two quick nuggets that I'll give you from the book, and you can get it on Audible, get it on Amazon, get it at your local bookstore as well. Um, One, he talks about what's the easy, quick action that gets you to the habit. For example, we talked about going to the gym. The number one thing you got to do to go to the gym is just put on your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can make it easier to put on your shoes right when you get out of bed, then you'll go to the gym more often, right? For
Right.
me, it's putting on my sweatshirt because it's cold. So it's like if I'm in the bed and it's cold, I might snooze it.
Mm-hmm.
No, not yet, because it's cold. So I put my sweatshirt right next to my bed so I can get up. Boom, sweatshirt, shoes right next to the bed, shoes. I'm out the house, right? So what's the one thing that you can do to make your habit that much easier? It could be putting dessert in a different cabinet so you don't eat the dessert, right? It
Mm,
could be putting vegetables in a certain place in your refrigerator to remind yourself to eat the vegetables, whatever it is. The next thing he talks about is habit stacking. So if you know you're going to do a certain action every single day or once a week, what beneficial habit can you add on to something that you're already going to do no matter what? All right.
mm,
Two examples. One, you're gonna drive, possibly. You're gonna drive to work, right? So on that drive, maybe you can listen to an audiobook, maybe you can listen to a business podcast, you can listen to the FYB Wise Word Wednesday podcast, right?
talk about it.
Your consciousness every day. Maybe you can do a monologue on your phone and just talk through business ideas or talk through a book idea that you have. How can you use your commute time to also be productive? This is how I wrote one of my, probably two of my books. This is how I wrote Black Future Month, a visionary plan to reshape our future, and 7 steps to launch your business. Was literally on my commute to and from work every day. I would just open up my phone, record the audio, get the transcription, put that into a Word document, and then edit that Word document. All right. So
I
habit
love
stacking.
that. You know what I think we need to do? I think let's try to make it. Well, first, let me acknowledge the comment. My man, Focus Mindset Co. said, my routine is waking up at 2:30 a.m., brush my teeth, and hit the gym by 3 a.m. I get 17 to 18 hours a day. That's intense, man. Ooh, yeah, that's intense. Much respect to you.
What time do you go to sleep? What time you go to sleep? Let me know.
Yeah. What time? Focus Mindset Co. What time do you go to sleep? Let us know. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Type that in the chat. He's on IG. I know y'all can't see it on the YouTube. But yeah, let us know what time you go to sleep. Cause I'll be trying to get in bed by like 9:30. So that I could try to get up, so 5:30 to hit the gym. If you hitting the gym at 2:30, you gotta be asleep by like 4 p.m. Like at least that's how I would have to be asleep by like 4:30. Or you must be super young. Because when I was young, I could get up early. Because I remember in college, I would be going to sleep at like 2 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Up until senior year for track. I was going to sleep at like 2 in the morning, partying and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then waking up at like, 6 o'clock to go to go to class and everything, work and all that type of stuff. So depending on when you're still young, you don't need your full 8 hours. But when you start to hit them 30s,
it catches up.
you need them hours. You need them hours of sleep. But I wanted to say, I think what we should start doing, bro, is every episode, I think we need to make a book recommendation. You know what I'm saying? And or maybe an article recommendation, just something that, you know what I mean, that we would think just some, it could be a long read, a short read, whatever, something that help people. And, I think we should give each of us will do that maybe next time, every episode.
I got you, coach.
No doubt. So I know we are running out of time, but any final words that you want to leave the people with in regards to, definitely, check out the book recommendations and that, he's already recommended. But anything else, any last words that you want to leave the people with when it comes to, routine?
Man, I just really want to remind folks to take the time this week, or maybe right after you're watching this episode, and think about the be, do, have, right? Really think about who do you want to be in life, right? Is that entrepreneur? Is that a principal? Is that owner of CEO of a tech company? Is that a great husband, great wife, great partner? Just really write out who you want to be, the things that you feel like that type of person would do, and the results of what that person would have. And just right there, I think that's going to give you your routine. That's going to give you your habits, and stick with that for 6 months. Come back to this video and let us know how it went.
Facts. I love that. Be, do, have. I would say, last word that I would leave with is, what are you chasing? You know what I mean? Like, what are you chasing, and how do your actions reflect what you're chasing, what you say you're chasing? I think if you're able to look back and see like, okay, I want to be this, do my actions reflect that? And if you're able to understand and ask yourself, everything you do, how does it impact where you want to go? I think you're going to be, you'll make some adjustments and you'll recognize that you're not necessarily acting the way that a person who wants to accomplish that particular goal would act, or doing the things that are relative to, or that going to get you in that path of success. So yeah, definitely that's my advice for y'all.
Fire.
This was a great episode, man. I want to say thank you to everybody that came through, whether you was watching on YouTube Live or the Instagram Live. I think Focus Mindset I think he hopped out because I didn't get the comment, but it's all right. Well, I still appreciate the.
No, he went to sleep, sir.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's way past his bedtime for sure, because he got to get up at 2:30 for sure. That's crazy. But yeah, thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. FYB presents Wise Word Wednesday. Shouts out to Devon Truvel. If you haven't already, go follow him at Play Black Wall Street. Play Black Wall Street, the board game. If you haven't already copped one, make sure you cop one. I literally have an unopened version of the second edition, and I think it's about time for me to get the master edition at this point. I think it's about that time, so that I can play it. But yeah, if you haven't already, please cop Play Black Wall Street. It's a board game. It teaches. Can you give a quick spill about Play Black Wall Street, the board game, real quick?
Quick plug. All right, if y'all
we got Black Wall Street, the board game, built on the history and legacy of Tulsa's Black Wall Street, one of the most successful Black communities in American history, that unfortunately in 1921 was bombed and destroyed. A lot of people know about the bombing and the destruction of it, but they don't know about the real businesses and real entrepreneurs that help build this community. So that's why we built Black Wall Street, the board game that features real businesses like Madam Cheese Walker Beauty Parlor, Uncle Steve's Barbecue, Williams Dreamland Theater, Booker T. Washington High School, Little Rose Salon, and over 40 other real businesses from Tulsa's Black Wall Street to teach y'all the real history, but also entrepreneurship. So grab y'all game, playblackwallstreet.com. We got the classic edition available for only $45 today. There's about 100 left in stock, so definitely make sure y'all hurry up and go there. And quick plug, we will be at the Black College Expos everywhere in California. So we'll be in San Diego. If you're out in San Diego, we'll be in LA. Come through. We also got the Battle of the Bands happening February 1st. We'll be in Oakland, kind of up by you, Josiah. If you want to pull up, we'll be in Oakland. And then we'll also be in Fresno. So if you're in Cali, Black Cause Expo, come say hi to us at the Play Black Wall Street booth.
Yeah, I'm super excited because I'll be at all those events as well too. So I'm excited to see y'all. Yes, I won't be representing Play Black Wall Street, but I'll always be representing Play Black Wall Street no matter what, man. So it's definitely a pleasure, man. I hope all of y'all take care and again, y'all stay safe. I'm gonna always leave y'all with the "We Fresh," and I love you. Y'all be safe. We out.